Astonishing, my inner self. It was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. After Jens' mother passed away, he inherited 17,000 euro. For not so honest reasons, he hid 10,000 euro of that money behind the kitchen cabinet in his home, and I was aware of it. The troubles this money brought with it were another story, but what struck with me deeply was an aspect of my own nature that this incident revealed to me. At that time, Jens' diabetes had progressed to the point where he needed insulin injections and had to strictly control the disease, and even lost one of his toes. One day during that time, despite calling him several times, I couldn't get in touch with Jens. Normally, I rarely get worried about people, but that day was different. A flood of various terrifying thoughts wouldn't leave me alone. Why isn't Jens answering the phone? He usually doesn't go anywhere without letting me know. Could something have happened to him? Could his blood sugar have dropped? Could he have had a stroke? Could he? With these thoughts swirling in my head, I called him again, but it was pointless. Jens wasn't answering. By that afternoon, after repeatedly calling him with no answer, suddenly pure anxiety took over me completely, and I felt extremely restless and nervous. I couldn't bear it any longer. In a rush, distressed and frantic, I jumped on my bike and headed towards Jens' house, which I had a key to. The bike ride to his house was about 10 minutes, and during this ride, once again, a flood of thoughts came rushing at me. What if I find Jens dead at home right now? Well, what would I do first? Well, what to do? What to do? Oh my God, what crossed my mind? Oh my God. I was horrified. No, Ziva, this isn't you. This isn't you. No. But yes, it was me. Witnessing myself and a part of my subconscious that had made its way into my awareness. Ziba! Yes, it was Ziba, who, upon seeing Jens dead, would immediately go towards the kitchen cabinet to take 10,000 euro. Is this you? Ziba? Really? In those 10 minutes on the bike, I tried with all my might to erase, clean, and in any way possible, rid my mind of these vile thoughts that had surfaced uninvited. But these thoughts had gently, like a breeze, entered my conscious and bright thoughts, forcing me to become more aware of the subtle and hidden dimensions of my existence. I had no choice but to accept and face this bitter truth. After 10 minutes, when I knocked on Jens' door, worried and distressed, ready to enter if he didn't answer, Jens opened the door, wearing a nightgown he rarely wore. At that moment, I lost myself, and like a madwoman, without saying a word, threw myself into Jens' arms. What's wrong, my dear? Schatz, what's going on? Ziba, what happened? Talk to me. And I just kept kissing him, smelling him, and like little children who have found their lost mother, I touched Jens' face and head. I don't want to talk right now, Jens. Don't ask me anything. I'm staying with you tonight. Okay? I don't even remember why Jens' phone wasn't working that day. And his explanations didn't matter much to me. What mattered was that he was okay. And on the other hand, I had confronted an unpleasant aspect of my own nature. That night in bed, I told Jens everything in full detail. He was stunned and looked at me, upset and in disbelief. After a pause, still looking surprised, he asked to reassure himself. Ziba, tell me honestly, did you really imagine that in those moments of discovering my death, you would go for the 10,000 euro? Really? And with a soft voice, I replied, yes, unfortunately. It wasn't my will. With my answer, Jens fell into a deep thought and didn't say anything else. However, I paid a heavy price for expressing these feelings and revealing my hidden thoughts that night. Shortly after, Jens not only took the 10,000 euro out of his house, but he also took back his house key from me. For a long time, he used that incident against me, even in front of others, and I could do nothing but remain silent and confirm his claims. Despite all of this, I still wasn't, and am not, regretful for revealing my true self and not keeping my feelings and thoughts hidden, even at the cost of enduring the heavy price of humiliation and being stripped of my status. Because the insight and clarity into my nature and subconscious, and the acceptance of myself, both in light and in shadow, was and still is far more valuable than any status. June 24th, 2009. From the True Stories of Ziba Navak.